terrorist attacks that took place last Friday in Paris, France, in which over 130 people were killed. People who are all innocent civilians, tourists, bypassers, people who had nothing to do with politics, people who were not at all politicians or had any role in politics. Innocent people, civilians, were killed. They were gunned down by ISIS terrorists. And as you may know, my dear brothers and sisters, the world has been rocking for last week, especially here in the West, reacting to what happened in France. The anti-Muslim sentiment are rising by day and by hour. The Islamophobic atmosphere is escalating. According to some research study centers, that the vast majority of French people now hate Muslims. Muslims are no more welcome in France. We notice the same thing happening in other countries. The anti-Muslim sentiment are rising here in the United States. A few governors, around 20 governors of the United States in the United States, they announced that the Syrian refugees are no longer welcomed to the United States. Two presidential candidates, Jeb Bush and the other one, Rubio, they asked that only Christian refugees would be admitted to the United States, but Muslims should not be admitted to the United States. My dear brothers and sisters, we Muslims need to speak up. We no longer can afford to be silent. We need to reach out to non-Muslims. We need to educate our neighbors. We need to tell the world that this has nothing to do with our religion. ISIS, they do not represent our faith. And Islam is mistakenly being targeted by the West due to the result of ISIS acts. ISIS has never represented our religion. One thing that many non-Muslims do not know is that ISIS has killed more Muslims than non-Muslims. Only one day, only 24 hours prior to the carnage in Paris, ISIS killed over 43 people in Beirut, injuring over 200 people who are all Muslims. In Baghdad, in the same day, ISIS killed 130 people in Paris. They killed 26 people in Baghdad, people who are all Muslims. In Syria, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, in Yemen. If you calculate the victims killed by ISIS from the Muslim community, it would outnumber vastly the number of the casualties among non-Muslims. And this shows that ISIS does not differentiate between Muslims and non-Muslims when it comes to killing and bloodshed. ISIS is willing to kill all other human beings who disagree with their own doctrine. Those who do not accept ISIS as a legitimate movement. They kill them. They killed Sunnis and Shia. They killed Muslims and non-Muslims. They never discriminated against their victims as long as those victims do not accept ISIS and its doctrine. So to blame Islam, to blame the Muslim community in France or the Muslim community in the United States, that's not fair at all. I was shocked 2 days ago when I watched Donald Trump saying that he doesn't mind at all having all Muslims in the United States issued a special ID that singles them out from other people. So, according to Donald Trump, he would encourage the fact that Muslims, all Muslims in the United States, including Muslim citizens, to carry a special ID telling that they are Muslims so they could be singled out from non-Muslims. It's absurd.